Have you ever thought about where your produce comes from? Most grocery chains receive produce from various local and national farmers. In fact, there are about 3.4 million farmers in the United States today. But of that staggering number, only 45,000 are Black farmers. At the Better Buggy, we are a proud group of Atlanta-based Black-owned farmers, selling produce locally and nationwide. Our easy-to-navigate online platform makes it easy for you to make a one-time purchase or to simplify your life by subscribing to our weekly produce box. Whichever frequency you choose, you can order with confidence, knowing you'll receive 100% organic farm-fresh produce. If you're looking for a thoughtful gift for a loved one that they'd actually find useful, be sure to pop by our online store where you can snag a gift card your recipient can use to order their own produce and t-shirts. Ready to start supporting local Black-owned farms and making healthier food decisions? Visit thebetterbuggy.com now to start shopping.
Ladies and gentlemen, many of you may know that Congress is working on a police reform, and qualified immunity was supposed to be in the bill. And we remember what James Clyburn said, take it out and we'll revisit it another time. And a lot of people were upset with him over that. Well, talks are not going so well with this reform bill. And they're saying that it's in the process of collapse. That's how bad it's going. And to me, I don't want to see any reform bill without qualified immunity in it. Without it, then the bill is garbage. It really is. So this came out on NBC News. And, I'm not surprised. I believe Tim Scott also said, qualified immunity should not be taken away. So, when you got Negroes sitting up in Congress and they don't even agree with something like that, that's really pathetic. It really is. All right, so this is June 29th, 2021. Let me go ahead and play this video from NBC News. Okay, let's see here.
But the fight for police reform is far from over.
We say to the United States Senate, pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act immediately. Around the world, black, white, brown, we all need to come together, take our bus to the Senate, stand out there, and demand this George Floyd Act be passed.
It must be passed. Lives are depending upon it. It's just that simple.
The George Floyd Justice in Policing Act, as passed by the House in March, would limit qualified immunity as a defense, eliminate unnecessary use of force, ban chokeholds, and create a national database for police misconduct. But negotiations in the Senate on a bill that would garner enough Republican support are dragging on. In the negotiating room with Democratic Senator Cory Booker and Republican Senator Tim Scott is Karen Bass of California. She sponsored the bill, which passed the House back in March, and she joins me now. Congresswoman Bass, thank you very much for coming to the Sunday Show on set.
Well, thanks for having me on, and it's great to see you in person.
In person, I should say welcome back, because you have been here before. So, respond to the montage that we played that came from Friday after the sentencing of Derek Chauvin, where you had Ben Crump and members of the Floyd family and the Minnesota State Attorney General saying, hey, Senate, Congress, pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. Your response to them?
I couldn't agree with them more. We absolutely need to get it done. And what I'm deeply concerned about is that now that we have a little uptick in crime, that is going to shift the debate, and people will then say, forget police reform. We need the police to be unleashed. And we need reforms. We need to hold police accountable. We need for transparency. And we need to begin to look at public safety in our communities a little differently.
Mm-hmm. In fact, in the Washington Post, we did a whole big series about reimagining public safety. But late in the week, just before the sentencing, a story broke. You and your co-negotiators said that there's a framework. We've got a framework.
Yes.
We haven't seen the framework. What's in it?
Yes. Well, basically the same components that we have been working on. There has to be accountability. We do not want to see any more of these videotapes of people being brutalized or killed at the hands of police. You know, since George Floyd's death, there have been several hundred deaths at the hands of law enforcement. We need to see that stop. So accountability, transparency. We need police to gather the appropriate data. You know, Derek Chauvin, in the report that he did after he murdered George Floyd, he said it was a medical incident. So we need to hold police accountable that way too. If they falsify reports, then that should be a crime in and of itself. If that child had not videotaped it, we wouldn't have ever known what happened to George Floyd. There needs to be accountability to the officers that surrounded Derek Chauvin. So there should be an accountability there. If you should be required to intervene. If you see someone brutalizing an individual, you should intervene. And so those are some of the components. But we need to continue our negotiation. The Senate is on a 2-week recess, but I know that Senators Booker and Senator Scott are going to be working very hard. And we hopefully, after the recess, will be able to actually have a deal.
Because I was going to say,
All right. It's the typical thing we hear all the time. You know, when police reform comes up, accountability. And we have yet to see accountability among cops. You know, it is commonplace for them to lie on reports. We have seen this a multitude of times. And, you know, she's not saying nothing that we haven't heard before. The bottom line is, where is the humanity in Congress, which we know it's not there? This should have been done decades back. But instead of doing that, they have sat on the sidelines and watched people, men, women, and children in the Black community die each and every year unarmed and were no threat to the police officers. And then cops will turn around, sit down, and write a phony police report. Why falsify the report if you didn't do anything wrong? That's nothing but a cover-up of what you did. So, look, so far, this country has never passed one single police reform that stopped the killings, unarmed killings of people in the Black community. In fact, they have passed these police reforms over the years, and nothing on the streets of America has ever changed. And the way this thing is collapsing now, I mean, what hope would you have? I have none. I had none before they got started, because they don't want to change. That's why they keep coming out here and attacking Black folks and pulling Black people out of cars over minor traffic violations, and they end up dead. They don't want this to change. And remember, you got Clyburn and Tim Scott that believe qualified immunity shouldn't be taken away from police officers. Joe Biden believes it shouldn't be taken away from police officers. So when you say stuff like that, then that tells me you're not interested in helping anyone in the Black community. You like things the way they are. But y'all, please tell me what you think. I don't have any faith in Congress when it comes down to our lives. It's not like they have gone out of their way to give a damn about us. You know, all they do is get elected in office and play the game of benign and neglect and act like we don't know what's going on. We've been knew what was going on. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.